Hi everyone, this is Chris Brazel. Welcome to my world. And my coding this week to show you how your mind is already walking before you or joining the dots about how things actually happen in your life. Now, today I'm coding Novak Djokovic. I actually teach in Serbia. I love teaching my people in Serbia. I love inspiring them, and we've got a great club already happening over there. So it's nothing to do with that. All I want to do is show you how a lot of these decisions that were made this week were already made back in November 2021. So let me take you through it. Enjoy the journey. And as I say, I'm not taking sides. I'm just simply showing you facts and figures and dots and showing you how it goes. So we know he was born on the 22nd of the 5th, 1987. So I'm not telling you anything that's not already out there in the media. So this means that he builds really big. But if you know, this year is actually 2022 and the unblocking code of 2022. So this year is going to affect him in quite a lot of ways. His unblocking code is 87, which is a 15-6, which this year is a 6 energy. So even the year this year, 2022, links to his numbers massively. So 6 is about rebuilding your life all over again, but it's taking responsibility and it's knowing boundaries, and it's also being respectful of everything else that's going around, but particularly boundaries and commitment. So let's take a journey back. He started 10, so one of his codes here, which is his natural code, is 22, comes to a 4. So his natural code is an actual 4. If you look at 1987, that's a 25-7. So it links to his knowledge and his strong belief. So whenever he has a strong belief about things and he has knowledge about it and he uses it for the best, he will bring out his best. Then you add the whole of his year, which is 25, 30, 34. So that is another 7. So it'll be very interesting this year after Australia has pushed the boundaries, or he's tried to push the boundaries with Australia and he hasn't actually got away with it. The truth has come out about what has actually been happening. Then it will be interesting to see whether Australia has put a little bit of instability and started a roller coaster in his career and what's actually happening. So we need to watch this space and see what happens. So let's go back. So he started tennis at the age of 4. His natural code is a 4. He went to Germany at the age of 13, which is a 4 energy, to continue with his career. So again, he was in his natural energy space here. He has 9 Australian titles, and this year would have been 10, but he didn't get it. And his world titles are 20, and he would have had 21. But where we are, Australia's energy is actually 21. And that's what I wonder, if we've put a pattern in his career, but simply getting him to recognize, yes, you are a world leader. Yes, you have helped Serbia. Yes, you have given them hope, and which is what I hope I do when I go over there as well. But you have to give hope with respect. And if you break boundaries, then how do you expect other people to break boundaries? And when I was doing this coding, one of the things I went back to is I always remember the Queen when she was with Prince Philip. Well, she wasn't with him, but at his funeral, she sat alone, and the number of people who were in the church was exactly the right numbers. So she followed the rules and she knew the boundaries and she respected them, and she was a leader in it. So when we go to Novak, what we have is a different story altogether, because even on the 18th, which is about viruses and infections and who's in control, which is the 8, but even on that day, he had no regard because he held a media conference and you're infected. I mean, what's that really saying? So let's go back. All of this started in November. So last year in November, I talked about the tower energy. And the tower energy means that the tower will fall eventually because something will be, not the right choice is actually made. So he was granted his visa on the 18th. 18 said he was divorcing something before he even got started. So going back, this is when it all started on the 18th in November, which is a 7 energy, which is his path number and also his force number, was there's already something happening in his mind about doubt, or there was something already on the pathway or spiritual pathway for him because it was a 16-7. Even the day was a 16-7, and it was in November, which was learning lessons in partnership and cooperation and making choices, was when the tower would start to fall. And the tower falls when it has a connection to 5. And he was actually born in May, which is a 5 energy. So on the 18th, he was granted his temporary visa, which was, he was divorcing the visa before he even got there. The whole energy of it was a 16-7, and it was in an 11 energy, which is the spiritual messenger. So he's definitely out there to give some messages in some way. On the 29th was when the Minister for Health said, or gave the rules to the Australian tennis people, that the rules are someone has to be vaccinated if they play. Now, you only go to facts and figures. Was he vaccinated or wasn't? He wasn't vaccinated. So that's a fact. It's no makeup there whatsoever. 29 says going through heartache and headache to have what you want through choices you made. But even here, they were divorcing him on this date because the force energy again was divorcing. So he was granted on a divorcing day. It was made very clear that people came in with those rules. This is the rules, and again, it's a divorcing rule. So then we go on the media. On the 18th, we're infected, but we still go into the media and have a media conference. Then we come back to in Australia. So while we're in Australia, we're, what do you call it? Not locked up, but we're confined. So we've started Australia to break some of the boundaries. Now, the court judges all agree. So it's about time. When you put rules into place, you have to back each other up with those rules. So the court judges, thank heavens, agreed to the fact that he had broken rules and he was breaking boundaries. He broke a boundary there. He broke the rules up here when he didn't get vaccinated. The rules are you have to be vaccinated. He blatantly broke the rules here when he had a media conference knowing that he was infected. So the 3 judges backed, thank heavens, the health minister. And if we don't all start backing each other, then we're not going to get where we want to be at the end of the day. So, and why should one person break a rule? If the Queen doesn't break a rule, should anyone else be able to break a rule? So the verdict came down yesterday, which was a 16 energy, which was a 7. The tower fell on the 16th, and at force energy was a 14-5. It was time for it, the change. The change was taking. Where was the nourishment? And so the tower fell. He was on flight EK 409, EK 7 energy. Again, his force and path number where he should be. His flight number 40913. It was taking some power away from the tyrant. He left at 2039, 16-7 again. He was supposed to leave at 10:30, but it left at 10:39. So here we go, the truth coming out. Here's his numbers, which are 22, which is his natural character up here. His arrival date going into overseas, again, was a 16-7. He was the 5, and he's learning the partnerships in cooperation and happened to go through upheaval and strife through choices that were actually made. So I wish him well, and I hope everything goes really good for him and his future. But all his knowledge goes back. So he's a tennis player and he's set a pattern up. So he wants to build big, and he has built big. Now, the 4 energy here is when you're doing things for the best of humanity, when you are doing the things that are best to bring out the best in other people, which is what he has been bringing out the best in Serbia. But at one stage, where has he actually crossed that, or has he crossed it? Because this is not bringing out the best here in media conferences when you're infected. That's not bringing the best out in you and not bringing the best out. So he has ruled the tennis world. There's no risk about that, which is what his 13-4 energy takes. He is the best at it. He's created a pattern and he's built a tower. But this year, last year in November, is when some of the choices were being made and the spiritual messenger was coming through, where the tower will start to fall. And the first part of the tower falling was when being granted a visa on the 18th, which is a 16-7 in a 16-7 month, which is creating the 5 to change. He left on the 16th when he didn't win, and that was a 16-5. So again, 16-5 5, and the 7. So the 7 energies that connect to him are his path. That's the people he meets and the education he has, and his force number, what will force him through the door. And when it comes back to it, his numbers are very much linked to stability, a process, knowledge, and a belief. So he has practiced and practiced on the court. He knows what shots to do. He has trained his brain to get to each shot when it gets there. So he's got knowledge and he's got a belief, and he's stepped into that power. And to be number one, you really have to have a lot of focus, power, and belief in yourself. Otherwise, you don't get to be number one in the world. But there's been a break, which is through boundaries, which is what this year is about. Boundaries and responsibility and teamwork. And so there's been a break in his system this month in January. And even if we look at January is a 1. Who is world number 1? Where is the focus at the end of the day? Is it on winning at no cost, or is it winning as a sport to bring out the best in yourself and other people? This year is 2022. This is his natural characteristics. His unblocking codes are 6. This year is a 6 energy here. Now, the month of January in 2022 equals 6. Is a 7 energy. And the 7 energy is where doubt, drainage, and emotions will come into play. So the year is 6, which is that. January is a 1, which is where is your focus? Where is your identity at the end of the day? And the force energy, you take January, which is 1, and you add it to the year 2022, which is a 6, equals 7. So all through January this year, which started back in November last year, has been related to his identity and his number 1 position in the world. So it will be an interesting journey following. I do wish him the best. The exercise here is not to be more about judging. It's just showing you how the dots all add up. And if you're out there struggling in life, check your access codes. So his access code here on the 18th, he didn't actually have access. He was closing a door, not opening a door. Australia wasn't opening the door because they granted it on that date there. Again, when he went to the court judge, the tower fell because judges united and backed the health minister, which was saying boundaries. This year is exactly boundaries, responsibility. Take responsibility for you. Take responsibility for your family. Take responsibility for your team. Work together and take responsibility for life. But it's only when we're going to work together this year, we're going to beat all these viruses, we're going to get back on track, and we're going to build a better world. So this is me out and closing. I do wish him luck. I do hope that everything runs absolutely fantastically for him. But sometimes you've got to follow boundaries. Cheers for now.